No one noticed the human warship at first. That, in hindsight, was the first and last mistake. The HFY suppression fleet translated into real space along the outer spiral arm with the confidence of a species that had never truly been challenged. 72 capital vessels, hundreds of escorts, carriers packed with strike craft, dreadnoughts whose hulls bore the scars of a dozen conquered systems. Their formation unfolded with ritual precision, geometric and overwhelming, blotting out the distant stars as gravity wakes rippled through the void. This was not an invasion, they told themselves. This was enforcement. The HFY Dominion had existed for nearly 3 million standard cycles. Their historians spoke casually of epochs, of civilizations that had risen and fallen like seasonal storms. They were older than most stars still burning in the younger arms of the galaxy. They had outlived gods worshipped by species now extinct. When the Galactic Concord was formed, the HFY had not joined, it had formed around them. Humanity was recent. Barely a few thousand cycles since they'd first cracked faster than light travel. Barely a few centuries since they'd stumbled into interstellar politics with clumsy diplomacy and an irritating habit of asking questions. Humans were loud, fast, innovative, and most offensively, unwilling to stay in their assigned corner of space. The final insult came when human exploration vessels crossed into a HFY-administered buffer system and refused to retreat. They cited star charts older than the Dominion's own claims. They cited treaties written in dead languages. They cited something they called precedent. The HFY Council laughed. And so the fleet was sent, not to exterminate, but to remind. The system designated K317 was unremarkable. A yellow-white star, a handful of lifeless planets, sparse asteroid belts, no stations, no defenses, no fleets waiting in ambush, just empty space and silence. The HFY Admiral, Veilcor the Unbroken, observed the system from the command dais of the dreadnought Sovereign of Ash. His multifaceted eyes flickered as data streamed across layered holograms, energy levels nominal, no mass distortions, no signs of human presence. Begin broadcast, he ordered calmly. A system-wide transmission surged outward, encoded in every known diplomatic frequency. This territory is under HFY Dominion authority. Withdraw immediately or face corrective action. They waited. Seconds passed, then minutes. No response. The Admiral's mandibles flexed in mild annoyance. Typical, he said. They retreat when confronted by reality. He gestured for the fleet to advance. That was when the sensors screamed. Not alarms, screams, raw, incoherent bursts of data as multiple detection arrays simultaneously registered something impossible. A mass signature appeared directly ahead of the fleet. Not emerging from hyperspace. Not warping in. Not translating or phasing or unfolding. It was simply there. No energy spike, no gravitational precursor, no warning of any kind. One moment, empty space. The next, a ship. It hung between the HFY formations like a scar cut into reality, long and asymmetrical. Its silhouette defied every known design philosophy. No smooth curves, no elegant symmetry. The hull was layered, jagged in places, as though sections had been bolted on over centuries rather than built at once. Dark metal absorbed light instead of reflecting it, broken only by thin veins of dull amber illumination running like old circuitry across its surface. It was enormous. Not the largest ship the HFY had ever seen, but heavy, dense. Its mass readings fluctuated wildly, refusing to settle into any stable number. This is impossible, a sensor officer whispered. The human warship did not hail them. It did not power weapons. It did not move. It simply existed. Admiral Veilcor straightened. Identify, he commanded. The fleet's AI cores strained, databanks were scoured, Concord registries queried, even restricted archives returned nothing. No match, came the reply. Configuration unknown, drive systems unrecognized, power output minimal, no active shields detected. A ripple of quiet laughter passed through the bridge. A human vessel without shields, appearing alone in front of a Dominion suppression fleet. How quaint, Veilcor said. Open a channel. The transmission reached the ship instantly. Still no response. The Admiral's patience thinned. Very well, fire a warning salvo, minimal yield. 3 HFY cruisers adjusted position and released synchronized energy bursts, controlled, precise, calibrated to frighten rather than destroy. The beams crossed the void in less than a second. They vanished. Not deflected. Not absorbed. They vanished, snuffed out mid-flight as if the universe itself had decided those beams were no longer relevant. Silence fell across the bridge. "Repeat," Veilcore ordered sharply. This time, a full volley. Missiles, particle lances, gravitic disruptors, enough firepower to shatter a small moon. Every projectile ceased to exist within a fixed radius around the human ship. Not exploded. Not diverted. Erased. The sensors struggled to describe what they were seeing. Space-time curvature around the vessel behaved incorrectly, as though local reality had been rewritten with different rules. A junior officer spoke, voice tight. "Admiral, the weapons are not missing, they are being removed." Veilcore's mandibles clenched. "By what mechanism?" "We don't know." The human ship moved. It did not accelerate. It did not turn. It reappeared, now inside the Kethery formation. No shockwave, no displacement of nearby vessels. One moment it was kilometers away. The next, it occupied a space no ship should have been able to occupy without collision. Two escorts were bisected instantly, their hulls sheared apart by forces that did not register as weapons fire. Their wreckage drifted silently, crew compartments exposed to vacuum before emergency fields could engage, then those fields failed, unraveling like mist. "Raise shields, full combat posture," Veilcore roared. Too late. The human ship emitted a pulse. No light. No sound. No energy spike. Just a momentary distortion, like heat haze across the void. 5 capital ships ceased functioning simultaneously. Their reactors did not explode. Their hulls did not crack. Every system simply stopped. Power went dark, gravity failed, life support shut down, command bridges froze in the vacuum of dead ships drifting aimlessly, still intact, still hull tombs preserved in perfect silence. Panic rippled through the fleet. This was not warfare as the Kethery understood it. This was deletion. The human vessel moved again, blinking across space with contemptuous ease. Each appearance coincided with another impossible effect. A carrier folded inward, crushed by its own mass as localized gravity spiked 1,000-fold. A dreadnought's molecular bonds unraveled, its hull dissolving into a cloud of constituent atoms. An entire squadron of fighters vanished between sensor frames, their pilots erased so completely that even debris failed to register. No return fire connected. No tactic worked. The fleet's formations collapsed as captains tried desperately to maneuver, only to find their ships responding sluggishly or not at all. Navigation systems fed contradictory data, timestamps desynchronized. Some vessels reported events occurring before they were issued orders. Reality itself was turning hostile. "Identify yourselves," Veilcore transmitted again, desperation seeping into his tone despite his will. "State your demands." At last, the human ship responded. A single channel opened. The voice that came through was calm, human, unmodified, almost gentle. "This is the Terran vessel Silent Resolve. No titles, no threats. Just a name. You are trespassing in protected space." Veilcore reeled. "Protected? By whom?" "By us," the voice replied, "and by every species you decided wasn't worth listening to." Another pulse. The Sovereign of Ash lurched violently, consoles shattered, artificial gravity fluctuated, hull plating screamed as unseen stresses rippled through the dreadnought's frame. Damage reports flooded in. Entire decks gone, not destroyed, simply missing. Sections of the ship now opened directly into space, their contents absent as if scooped out by an indifferent hand. "How?" Veilcore hissed. "What are you?" There was a pause. Then the human answered. "We're the ones who learned early that if the universe doesn't give you fair rules, you make better ones." The Silent Resolve drifted closer, not by moving through space, but by redefining where it was. Kethery ships tried to flee. Hyperspace drives failed to engage. Warp corridors collapsed before forming. Emergency translation systems dumped vessels into lethal trajectories or simply refused to function. The human ship did not pursue in the traditional sense. It didn't need to. It selected targets with surgical precision. Command vessels first, communications hubs, sensor arrays. Every attempt to coordinate resistance ended in silence. Within minutes, The proud suppression fleet was a graveyard. 72 capital ships reduced to drifting wrecks or erased entirely, hundreds of escorts gone, tens of thousands of Ketheri dead or lost between moments, never even registering as casualties in Dominion records. And through it all, the human ship remained untouched, unhurried, unstressed. Veilcor stood amid the ruins of his bridge, emergency lights flickering weakly as the last of his officers lay dead or unconscious around him. He keyed the failing transmitter with a trembling limb. "Why?" he demanded. "Why destroy us?" The response came immediately. "We didn't," the human said. "We stopped you." A final distortion rippled outward from the silent resolve. The dreadnought's core froze in time. Not shut down. Frozen. Veilcor felt his thoughts slow, stretch, fragment. The last thing he saw was the human ship turning, not away, but inward, folding space around itself until it ceased to be a thing that existed where he could perceive it. Then even that vanished. Days later, the galactic Concorde reeled. Distress signals arrived in fragments, warped by physics that no longer behaved correctly along their paths. Survivor accounts contradicted one another, yet all agreed on the impossible truth: an entire Ketheri fleet had been neutralized by a single human warship. Not destroyed in glorious battle. Ended. The Concorde convened emergency sessions. Ancient races whispered fears they hadn't spoken aloud in millennia. AI overseers flagged humanity as an existential anomaly. And on Earth, deep beneath layers of ocean and stone, a council of human commanders reviewed the engagement with quiet efficiency. "Any losses?" one asked. "None," another replied. "No damage sustained." A third leaned back, exhaling slowly. "The message will spread." "It already is," came the answer. "Ketheri border systems are pulling back. Other powers are reconsidering." Silence settled over the chamber. At last, the oldest among them spoke. "We didn't build ships like Silent Resolve to conquer the galaxy," she said. "We built them so no one could ever decide our fate for us again." Outside, Earth turned peacefully beneath the stars. And far beyond human space, every fleet commander in the galaxy learned a new, terrifying truth. Some civilizations survive by being ancient. Others survive by being powerful. Humanity survived by refusing to play by anyone else's rules. And when a strange human warship appeared, entire fleets learned, in moments, what that truly meant.